Today we have a flat earther who thinks that he is using forensic analysis on photos by letting his pareidolia run wild and finding shapes in rocks.
He is coming. Cover your butt.
Help fight the flat earth bots by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more weekly content.
You'll continue to see as you make your way through the Apollo videos is evidence on how the equipment and props were recycled mission after mission on the moon stage set and shot over a period of time that resulted in the obvious aging, weathering, and breaking down of many items. What additionally is going to be revealed over the next few videos is that the moon movies were shot in an old landfill site, evidenced by many objects that shouldn't be found on the surface of the moon.
I want to start by highlighting the sheer stupidity of the people perpetrating this hoax. Paul would have you believe that the US government wanted to deceive the whole world, so they have orchestrated what can only be described as one of the biggest, if not the biggest conspiracy of all time. In order to achieve this goal, the US spent $25.4 billion, or $200 billion in today's money. The government has a huge budget with a single goal: to create a show so realistic that it fools everyone on Earth, and that this project is kept a secret. So you're telling me that with this immense budget, and with the other resources the US government has at their disposal, they chose to use a landfill for recording? I want to put this into perspective for you. The government has military bases all across the US. Hell, they have military bases all over the world. Military bases with guards, fences, and in locations that are not easily accessible by civilians. They have areas of land that are heavily controlled, where they wouldn't even need to create an excuse for why there are armed guards at the gate. But instead of using these existing facilities, the US government used a landfill. The government, who is trying to keep the biggest secret in history, used public land that is easily accessible by civilians. Land that they didn't own and more than likely had to buy. Land that, while it might be abandoned now, had to, at one point, been easily accessible to people in order for it to function as a landfill. This is the most ass-backwards way of finding a staging area for a fake moon landing. Keep this logic in mind as we see more of Paul's evidence.
While waiting for Aldrin to come down the ladder, Armstrong took this photo. On the top right is an air intake louver, and on the bottom is an air intake housing, where an air filter goes. The center bolt and washer is visible, and it has a handle on the intake horn as well.
This is the majority of Paul's evidence. He sees an air intake louver and housing. He sees an alternator.
On the bottom right, there is a car alternator.
And he sees spark plugs.
Inside the rock were metal parts. This broken rock revealed 2 spark plugs.
The way that Paul conducts forensic analysis on these images is by approaching these images with a bias and determination to find something in them. He then lets his pareidolia run wild, and to no one's surprise, he finds something in all those pictures. This is a grown-ass adult playing the cloud game and then pretending that what he actually found is real. Try this same approach yourself. Look through some pictures, making sure that you are determined to find something in them, and allow your imagination to run wild. You'll soon be seeing any number of objects in any image. Maybe, if you're confident enough in your findings, you might find Bigfoot. If pointing out the flaws in Paul's forensic analysis isn't enough for you, here is something that you should think about. Why aren't there any footprints in these pictures? Notice this picture that Paul claims shows a car alternator. In this picture, the only footprints visible are those made by Neil Armstrong. So why is this so important? Well, what the lack of footprints demonstrates is that if this is fake, Someone took a lot of time to remove some footprints. Regardless of whether you think the LEM was a real vehicle or not, it is still a rather big object. Even for a prop, it would still be heavy and cumbersome to set up, which means that there should be tire tracks or foot tracks of all the people that helped lift and move the LEM into position, but there are none. That means that someone, or someones, meticulously ensured that all traces of footprints were removed. People took the time to make sure that the land looked pristine, and yet somehow these same people missed a fucking car alternator sitting so close to the LEM that Buzz Aldrin nearly trips on it.
Looking at the mesh of material behind Aldrin, I am surprised that they didn't trip and fall.
Finally, we have this piece of forensic analysis.
The surveyor is a quickly put together prop. The solar array is just a wooden board, and they are not even the same. In the lower right shows standing water, and the coating is peeling back. NASA wants you to believe that this thing navigated to the moon, descended, landed, and sent back pictures, scooped up dirt, analyzed it, and sent back data. If so, where's the high gain antenna?
First, let me point out a bit of dishonesty on Paul's part. You see, he's deliberately cropped the picture of the surveyor so that you can only see the part that he thinks is standing water. But he doesn't show you the rest of the solar panel. The reason why becomes rather obvious once you see the whole solar panel. If we are led to believe that this is standing water, why isn't there water on all the other parts of the solar panel? For example, the edge here, or this right here. Why is it that only these two panels have standing water? That is rather convenient of this water to only pool on these locations and nowhere else. Also, notice this antenna here might possibly be what is being reflected on the solar panel. And since the panels aren't flat, it might be why it looks like there's standing water. But that just might be too crazy. It is far more reasonable to say that this is water magically only pooled on two panels while leaving the rest of the surveyor looking completely dry. Also, this, and this are antennas. So, good job doing forensic analysis.